Hello, I'm Inez, the Tarot Spider. Welcome to my parlor. Sit down, relax, and stay a while. This is a new channel, and I just wanted to talk about what I think about it and my plans for it. First and foremost, let's talk tarot. We will talk about decks, both old and new, some out of print, some traditional, some non-traditional. Sometimes we will focus on one card and look at it across several decks and see the different intentions and interpretations of the card. From time to time, I'll talk about books that deal with tarot, movies, songs, but most of all, this channel will be about tarot and oracle decks. Let me introduce myself again. My name's Inez, the Tarot Spider, and I am a psychic medium and tarot card reader. I've been reading since I was 16. I've always believed that tarot is a tool to help us live our best lives. Sometimes, a deck, a reading may have a call to action. Sometimes a reading will tell us to do the most difficult thing of all, which is to sit quietly and let the universe do its work. I have a selection of decks. As I said, we will look at them together, and maybe I can give you new insights into the card, and maybe you can give me new insights as well when you're in the comment section. I would love to hear what you think about the things that I've shown you. For now, let's start at the very beginning. I hear it's a very good place to start. There is a question that every single reader on the face of the planet throughout history has probably been asked when they do readings in a public forum, a convention, a fair, a psychic night, anything like that, a party. You will be asked, what is the best deck for a beginner? We've all faced that question, and we all have our answers. For me, the answer I give is the Waite Smith deck. This is a deck where 99.9% of other tarot decks take their inspiration and then shoot off in however they were inspired to create a deck. But their jumping point is the Waite Smith deck. Tarot is very old. Some museums have tarot cards dating back to the 1600s. But the Waite Smith deck was created in 1909 by two people that were associated with the Golden Dawn. And so the name comes because it was published by Ryder and Son in 1909. The author was A.E. Waite, who was a mystic. And the artist that created the images was Lady Pamela Colman Smith. She was a member of the Golden Dawn, as also A.E. Waite was. Now, for most of my life, this has been called the Rider-Waite. You walked in, said, "Do you have a Rider-Waite deck?" Recently, we have realized that the artist deserved some credit here because she created these iconic images. So now we call the deck the Rider-Waite Smith deck. This was the first deck I ever owned because I had a friend who went and took one of those courses that you take at the library, a couple of weeks, and they will teach you the tarot, and so she would go, and then she would come home, and then she would teach me. So this is the deck that I have had since I was 16 years old. It's done me well. Now, I'm not going to go through all the cards. What I will do is we're going to talk about some of the cards and why this deck has become so important, and then I'll give you my last final thoughts. So this deck, the cards display the explicit meaning of the card. Whenever you hear that a tarot deck is a Rider-Waite Smith clone, it's because the pictures are very close to what Pamela Colman Smith painted. Okay? So here we start. Here is the Fool, and you have the name of the card. You have the imagery of what's going on here. He's holding a white flower because he's innocent. He's on his journey. The little dog is loyal and trying to tell him you're walking off a cliff, but he's trusting in the universe. And so this is where we start, and the Fool is always a 0. He is not formed yet. And here we have the next card is the Magician, and he's got a robe. It's red, just the fire, passion. You have red and white flowers. He's pure. As you see, his gown is white. So there's this marriage of purity and power. And all the symbols of all the suits are depicted on his table. All right, each suit you have, well, we'll get there. Here we have the High Priestess. She's between two columns, and it's really like a doorway. Doorways are liminal spaces. They divide things. When you're standing in a doorway, you're standing between two rooms. In this case, she is standing between what is in the physical world and the secrets of the occult. If you hear that noise, there is a wind out there that's shaking the house. You can see behind her there are pomegranates, which is fertility, growth. So getting past her will bring you nourishment and fertility, fruitfulness. She is holding the Torah, which has secrets, and her gown is flowing away from her like water. She is a fountain. She's a fountain of knowledge. So you see, I think you can get a taste of the richness of this deck, of what is so important. Here we have the Lovers, and they're Adam and Eve. On Eve's side, you have the tree with the apples and the snakes. On his side, you see a flaming bush. And in the middle is this angel and the sun, and it's proclaiming something on them. And it's this card. This card can be taken in so many ways. It can be, hey, she's the one for you. Okay, let's go. And you can also look at it as a loss of innocence, because there's the snake, there's the angel, and in the Bible, that angel stands at the doorway to Eden now, after God threw them out. So is it a loss of innocence card, or is it, hey, she's the one, put a ring on it? Okay, so it all depends on your intuition. It all depends on what other cards are in the spread. So, I think you're beginning to see that these cards have a lot of rich imagery, which I feel cements its place in tarot history and tarot importance. Here you can see, and you have the Chariot. The Chariot is often spoken about as you are a driving force. You are in control of whatever situation. This is depicted in the rest of your reading, or your life. It can also be asking that you make a choice which direction you're going to go. You're going to go left, or you're going to go right. And you can see here the drapery over his head is printed with stars, and that can talk to the protection of heaven. And he's wearing these epaulets that are crescent moons, And that's a depiction of his power. So when you look at cards, and I think I'm going to call this beginner's tarot, um, because we're talking about Rider Waite, and because it's a good way to begin to look at these cards. For instance, this is the Hermit. And you're going to notice that on all of the cards, this is Pamela Coleman Smith's signature on the painting. So you've got the Hermit. He's dressed in gray. He's on this empty land. He's by himself holding up a lamp. And I ask, sometimes it's, like I said, depending on the reading, depending on the other cards on the spread, this can talk about you've got to stop being so focused on the outside and start looking for the answers on the inside. And other times, I think of Diogenes looking for that honest man. You know, the story that he wanders with a lantern looking for the most honest man. And sometimes that's very pertinent in a reading. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune. I said I wasn't going to do every card, and it feels like I'm doing a lot of cards so far. The Wheel of Fortune. The wheel is always turning. Today you're up on top. Tomorrow you're on the bottom. So you have to go with the flow, as they say. Okay. As you get to know me, you will know that death is one of my favorite cards. And this death, I really enjoy it. It is the rider on a pale horse, and his name was Death. And you see, here's a bishop in his mitre, and he's begging, don't take me, don't take me. And you have children, and it looks like maybe their mother, and they're dying. And you have a king that's already on the ground here, and there's his crown falling off. So death comes for everyone. The rich, the poor, the holy, he don't care. And so I like this death. I do. I really do. And if you look back here, you have two towers and the sun. And see, these people here, the man begging not to go, he, as holy as he is, he doesn't see that land. That's where you're going. You're going through that doorway into something else. You're going to become something else. In the movies, that's if the person doing the reading, the death card comes up, they're going to be dead in the next 5 minutes in the movie. That's not it. That's not it. Death in the tarot is a transformation. You're going from here, life, you're going to go through those two towers into something else. You're going to be transformed. You're going to change. Okay? So don't freak out. I also enjoy depictions of the devil. And here we have um, an accepted depiction of what the devil looks like. He's got a goat head with the big horns. He's got wings. He's got furry legs and claw feet. That's pretty good. And then you have the male and the female, and they're chained to the plinth that he's standing on. And you can see that they each have a tail. The male and the female have a tail coming out. And again, the female is depicted with fruit, grapes, and he's depicted with fire. So he's got the energy and she has the fruitfulness. Okay, now, is this a bad card? I look at this card as a warning, because these people here have chained themselves. He didn't do it. You see his hands, he's not holding them there. They have chosen to be there. And this card talks to excess, uselessness, addiction, compulsions, things that you are making the choice to do that are detrimental. And that, whether it's a toxic relationship or being unkind to your people in your circle, you are making choices. And I found this while I was going through these cards to talk about them with you. I came across a really interesting dynamic here. The Lover's card, you've got the male and the female, and they are getting thrown out of Eden. The angel is standing over them. Here, they have chosen to be here, and the devil is standing over them. This is a very interesting thought for me. I thought that it was interesting. The Tower is a card that you might not want to see in your reading. As you see, I always think of the Tower of Babel when I look at this card. They've made a big tower, and power comes out of somewhere and knocks it down, and everybody's thrown out the windows, and oh dear. Some people have a different take on this card, and they like to put a more positive spin on it and say, oh, and it almost sounds like they're talking about the Death card. Without destruction, there is no growth, and things like that. And they can have that opinion. That's great. I love hearing other people's opinions about the cards, especially ones that we know so well as the writer Waite Smith. But for me, it's a you're getting too big for your britches kind of card. And here's something else. Here's the moon. The moon is usually depicted like this, with two dogs and a crayfish and those two towers. And the card is usually interpreted as being your subconscious, being your, it can be that you're on the river of denial. You're looking at illusions. You're making illusions for yourself. And again, this symbol, the symbols of the two towers, and are we going to go through them and get past the illusions of the moon? The sun. The sun is an interesting card. It's a really good card. The sun's shining, the birds are singing, you're riding a horse bareback through a field of sunflowers. It's a great card to have. A lot of people have trouble with, I am sick of seeing the baby. And welcome sun cards that don't have that baby on it. I don't know why, but people got sick of it. So, but that's okay. Judgment is another interesting card. There's I forget what angel is it that blows the trumpet to raise everyone at the end of things. But there he is, and people are sitting up in their coffins, ready to go. It's again a card for me, a card of transformation. You were dead, now you're alive. You were dead, now you're alive. And let's face it, we all know people that you wonder, are you still breathing? Because they're not really partaking of life. They're just existing. Well, the cards I've been showing you are the part of the deck that's called the Major Arcana. It's 22 cards from 0 to 21, and they illustrate the Fool's journey. And so the Fool has gone through the 21 cards, because this is 21 cards, different phases and different experiences, both physical, mental, and spiritual, and has gotten here to the next to last card. And so everything that he has seen and been part of and been changed by, he was dead when he started at 0 with nothing, innocence, a blank slate. And now he knows. And he was dead, but now he's alive. And the last card of the Major Arcana is the World. And it's usually depicted with a dancing naked lady. And you have here, she's encircled by a wreath. Other decks, she's encircled by the Ouroboros, which is a snake eating, it's two snakes eating their own tails. It'll come up. But, so he was dead, now he's alive, and he is complete and at one with the world. And then, those are the 22 cards of the major arcana. And then you've got all of these that are the minor arcana. And they are different suits. And they each correspond, well, regular playing cards correspond to these suits because these came first. And so you've got the wands. The wands are the element of fire. There are other correspondences that are there are other correspondences like astrological signs, planetary signs. So you have to, if you want to add that layer of knowledge to the interpretation of these cards, then make yourself familiar with what planet rules this element, what planet rules the court cards, which is probably where you're going to see that the most. What numerologically. So there's a lot of layers that you can add to the interpretation of these decks. All right. Usually the Ace of Wands is all of the aces. They are beginnings. This is where the suit starts. If you notice, the card is called the Ace of Wands, but what this hand is holding up looks like a club. So this deck, this suit, corresponds to the clubs in a regular playing deck. So here we have the beginning. There's fire, which is the power to create, set things in motion. There you go. I'm going to talk about these two cards because they used to be difficult for me when I first started. And now they're not. Finally. Here is the Two of Wands. It's a man between two wands. He's holding a globe and he's looking out at the ocean from a parapet. And notice the flower there, red and white, power and purity. So this man is looking, I feel, he's looking from the globe out to the ocean and thinking about his place. Where is his place? And then here we have the Three of Wands. And it's a man standing between three wands. And he's looking out. Is he waiting? Is he... Despite the fact that this is yellow, these are ships out there. So, to me, this man is planning. He's planning to move something. He's wondering to start something, making that choice. Here he's made the choice, and to me, those ships out there, teeny tiny ships, they're his. He's created what it was that he needed to create, and now he's watching it develop. Are his ships going to come back full of treasures and merchandise, or are they going to have failed in whatever the mission was when they come back to him? This is a great card. Everyone loves to see this card, the Four of Wands. If you see, it's 4 wands with garlands attached to it. And you have a couple down here dancing and frolicking. And to me, this is a wedding card. This is a marriage card. The garlands up here, suspended up here, they remind me of a huppah, which is the canopy under which Jewish people get married under. It symbolizes their new home as well as the protection of the deity over their union. So this is a beautiful card to come up especially in a love reading. I'm not doing every card. I've already been talking for half an hour, which, let me take a sip. But here you have the 5 of Wands. You see on the top, you've got the number, and there are always going to be 5 staffs or wands. Okay, that's what makes this card a great starting deck, is that the information is there. So when you buy a Waite Smith deck, it comes with a little white book. However, there have been other books that flesh things out a little more than is possible in a little white book. So I would suggest getting one of those to help you. And so here is the 5 of Wands, and you can see they're all battling each other out, whether it's a playful game or whether it's a not so playful game, or did it start playfully and now it's like, what the hell's wrong with you, and smashing each other. So depending on the other cards in the reading is where you would get that answer. Here you are being ganged up on. This is the 7 of Wands. And again, count them. You've got 3, 6, and 7 is being held by someone battling everybody off. Are you the only one with a certain opinion? Are you the only one that wants to do a certain thing and you're having to get past everyone's criticism? That's what this card is talking to. Ten of Wands. Are you carrying everybody's burdens? Are you doing a job with no one to help you and feeling overwhelmed? That's what this card is talking to. And then, after those 10 cards, you have the court cards. Some decks call them court cards. Other deck creators call them trumps. Some have more than 4. It all depends on the creator. For the Rider Waite Smith, you have 4 court cards in each suit. You have the Page of Wands. And these are usually news bearers. So they are usually standing still, proclaiming something, standing for something. You have knights. Here's the Knight of Wands, looking all fiery. You can see his horse's mane looks almost fiery. His feather looks like fire. His coat has salamanders on it, which salamanders are credited legendarily to be able to walk through fire unscathed. So knights are about quick action. Whether you're going to take quick action or someone's going to take quick action for you or with you or against you, it all depends on what else is going on in the reading, in the cards. Here you have the Queen of Wands. She's usually depicted with sunflowers, which if you've ever raised a sunflower, grown a sunflower, the seeds are, you get hundreds of seeds from one giant sunflower. And that, to me, it talks to the potency, the power that is within her. And here's her cat. This is the witchiest to me, of all the queens. She is the witchiest. And then we have the King. And there's that salamander. And I think you can also, he's on the King's cloak. And this is a man of action. A lot of times when he comes up in a client's reading, because the court cards can represent people in your client's life or your life. And to me, the King of Wands, he's got the power of fire. He is ready for action. He is not sitting back on that throne. He is forward. He is ready to get up, or he is intense in his attention to something. So those are my feelings about the King of Wands. And so I'm gonna move a little faster because we've been here a while. Let me take another sip. And again, the Ace, the Pentacles are associated with the diamonds in a regular playing card deck. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles are also associated with the earth, material things. Okay? And here is the Ace of Pentacles. And as I said before, it's beginnings. There's that doorway. Go through it. Your beginning. Go to your beginning. And again, you're coming from purity and you're going into power, because you've got the white flowers up front and you have red flowers on this hedge that you're going through. So step into your power. The Two of Pentacles. It's an interesting, I find this card more interesting in other decks than I do here. It's a balancing act. You're weighing things and trying to make decisions about them. The Three of Pentacles. And again, you can see how cleverly, sometimes the pentacles are very obvious. Sometimes they're worked in to the card in a interesting way. And this card, it's very funny because so many people say this is a marriage card. The Gothic arches, the drapery on the woman, at first glance, yes. And I think that depending on the cards that are around it, it may be a marriage card. My other take on this card is that these people are being put into a position. They're being maneuvered, because while at first glance this looks like a marriage card, when you take a closer look, that's not a priest. He's talking to them about something. And it just has a different kind of feeling to me. But that's just me. You can get your deck and meditate on this card. Read a few different sources. Be careful, because some people, especially today with ChatGPT and all that, you'll read the same exact thing word for word in 3 different tarot books of 3 different people. But to me, the best way, after you've read what's in the little red book, or if you buy a book on Rider-Waite, the best way to get a deeper feeling and understanding is to take a card and look at it closely. Use your intuition and see what it tells you. Because that's how I came to that conclusion, that this is not a marriage. This is a con job. So, like I said, are there going to be readings where I'm going to say, huzzah, get married? Yeah. It all depends on my intuition, what spirit tells me, and the other cards that appear in the spread. This card. This is another card that I am always intrigued to watch, to see how other people interpret this. This is a sad card. There's the church glowing, window glowing, and you've got two hungry, crippled beggars outside, and they're not getting in, which is a really sad comment on society, that even the church that takes everybody, supposed to, is not taking them in. They're disconnected from the power that's out there, that connects us all. They're disconnected. And I'm always intrigued by how other decks depict that card. The Ten of Pentacles. You have sown, you have harvested, and now you are enjoying the fruits of your labor. This is a card of plenty. And you have the court cards, the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. Okay. There are two more suits in this deck. I think this is going to be part one, because the richness and the beauty of these cards, I'm gonna make you all laugh. I thought I could do this in half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm halfway through this deck. So, and there are things beyond talking about the cards themselves that I would like to say. So this is going to be part one, and part two shouldn't be this long, okay? I'm sorry. I just seem... It is very easy when you have something for a long time and you work with it. It's your standby. It's your first reach. You work with it almost... You don't have to say anything to each other. You know where you're going. You know when you get there. And so my brain uses the symbology just as a matter of course after all these years. And I'm finding that in having to explain it has opened my eyes to the beauty and the richness of this deck, and it has taken away that kind of almost dismissive feeling, because I don't have hundreds and hundreds of decks. I have a few dozen. There are so many unusual and beautiful and creative decks out there to explore, to enjoy, that you kind of take for granted where you started. And doing this today has taken away that taking for granted feeling and reopened my eyes to the beauty and the richness of this deck. So, please join me for part 2, where we will do the cups and the swords, and I will talk about variations on the Rider-Waite deck. Okay? Thank you for coming to my parlor. Please come back. Do you have the Rider-Waite deck at home? How do you see some of the cards that I talked about? What other insights have you gained? I would love to hear about it in the comments section. Do the YouTubey things, like, subscribe, please. And ta-ta for now.